CVI is a brain-based vision impairment. It's actually really more than one vision impairment. If you've got a visual field deficit, if you have difficulty judging speed and movement, or seeing lots of things, to put it fairly crudely, it's a collection of brain-based visual impairments. People can have one or several. Half of our brain is taken up in processing visual information. You can have perfectly healthy eyes and perfect eyesight, but huge issues processing visual information. And that is one of the problems, because someone can go to an optician, eyes are fine, but can have significant disability through this because it's the way their brain is processing information. They have difficulty with clutter, crowds, finding things, visually guided movement because their brain doesn't make the calculations maybe to pick things up accurately, accessing text because text is clutter on a page. Children can be prevented from learning to read because they need large print or it needs assessing. So it's a multitude of things, and the impact on emotionally, some people can't recognise faces, so they're thought of as being maybe lacking empathy. Some people can't remember routes. It's a very complex condition, and obviously people don't necessarily have the whole gamut of sort of features of it, but it's a broad spectrum as well, from people who will maybe in higher education to people with multiple disability, and they are the most vulnerable because they cannot talk about how they see differently, and so they are relying on other people to interpret their behaviours and actions, which is why it's really important that they get access to skilled support. We're setting up links. We've already spoken to a couple of the trustees about possibly people attending our conferences. We also have a forum specifically for CVI, but where people would be welcome. I've already arranged this afternoon to speak to some parents who have got the CVI diagnosis but maybe aren't getting that support because there isn't the knowledge out there in medics. I know that from my own experience. There are only few specialist centres for CVI. It's nowhere near as rare. But because of the way it presents, people aren't being picked up, and it's really important when you have someone who's got maybe another significant condition, it's often overlooked. But yet vision is a really important way of engaging with the world, and so these children need the support of people who understand the way they may be seeing, and so they can help them to be the best they can be and to be happy. Every single person or child with CVI is different. There is no generic means of support, and when we see someone who's been told that this method will work for every child, it makes me not suspicious but sort of quite anxious, because in truth that's not true. Every child needs to be profiled as an individual. There are things that we can do. There may be similarities, ways of assessing vision, working where that child's at, and then looking at specific programmes for them. But for everybody with CVI, the enemy is clutter. Less is more. I wouldn't have spent 10 years of my life on something if I didn't think there was positive outcome potentially for every single person, and they can, wherever they are on that spectrum, they can be helped to be able to use their vision to engage. For children with profound CVI to be supported to use other senses and other means of communication. But there are many children who are, parents whose children have been told that they're blind, but in actual fact, given that right support, they can begin to use their vision. And it will develop in many cases. So for every child, there's a positive potential outcome if they get that support.